Good morning, Star Wars fanatics. In The Mandalorian Season 1, we see Mando himself, Din Djarin, getting rescued by another Mandalorian while Din Djarin was a child. The blue armored-clad knight whisks down and saves young Din Djarin from a certain death. We had witnessed Separatist droids just before that kill Din Djarin's parents. We didn't see it happen, but it alluded to it. The Mandalorian warrior picks up the child from a cellar and holds him tight. The child holds him back tightly. There's a bond instantly. You can see it in their faces. The two then fly off into the sunset. The next time we see Din Djarin, he's an adult, and he's wearing his own armor as well. Not just any armor. In my last video, I talked about how he's actually wearing the Savior Mandalorian's armor. And don't worry, I did get a lot of hate for that. No, it's not his armor. No. Okay, whatever. It is. Look at it. It's a unique design in the chest plate and the legs, and Din Djarin's wearing the same design. A design we have never seen before on a Mandalorian. But this video isn't about his armor. This video is about what happened to that Mandalorian savior that rescued Din Djarin as a child. And before we go on, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment down below as to what you think happened to that Mandalorian. Alright, let's get back into it. Din Djarin was rescued by that blue armor-wearing Mandalorian. That Mandalorian is officially called the Death Watch Mandalorian. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the Hot Toys exclusive that's coming out with that Mandalorian. Well, it's already out. Check it out. He isn't being called the Clan Vizsla Mandalorian, nor the Children of the Watch Mandalorian, but the Death Watch Mandalorian. I bring that up because a lot of people gave me hate for calling him a Death Watch Mandalorian. Well, I'm just going off the product description from the Hot Toys exclusive figure. But let's circle back. It does make a difference that Din Djarin is wearing that Mandalorian's armor. But if we look at the armor, it's a little mismatched. In my last video, I talked about how his right shoulder piece is actually that of a Scarif Trooper. But the rest of the armor looks like that of the Mandalorian who rescued him as a child. But one thing I didn't bring up in my last video about the armor is that Din Djarin now has that armor painted a reddish color. The right shoulder pauldron's still painted the same colors as a Scarif Trooper. That's what gives it away that it's a Scarif Trooper armor, and that one was replaced by the Beskar when he received the 1 ingot of Beskar. Okay, trying not to jumble my thoughts here, but the red is important, because in Mandalorian society, colors on a Mandalorian's armor really do mean something, and the red means that it's honoring a parent or leader. And since he's wearing the armor of the Mandalorian who rescued him, red painted over that blue would mean he is honoring that Mandalorian who saved him as a foundling. But other than when he is a child, he does not see that Mandalorian. We don't see that Mandalorian, at least. He could still be around somewhere in retirement, or anything else could have another set of armor, but Din Djarin is definitely wearing that man's armor. But I'll ask it one more time. What happened to that Mandalorian? I don't believe he's still alive. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not open to other opinions. I do listen to you guys' opinions, so leave a comment what you think. But I don't believe he's alive. I believe something bad happened to him. Not just old age, not just passing away of natural causes or anything like that. And it's all in the armor that Din Djarin's wearing that I get these clues. Now, a lot of people will say, well, he's just piecing together armor because he's wearing mismatched armor that isn't Beskar, it's Durasteel or anything like that. I believe it is Beskar, other than the right shoulder armor that's of a Scarif Trooper. But I haven't said anything about Din Djarin's helmet, and that's on purpose. It's because that isn't the original helmet that Mandalorian wore. We know that. We can tell that. It's not the same color. It's not even a color. It's just a Beskar helmet of a different shape entirely than what that Mandalorian wore. Okay, so here's my theory as to what happened to that Mandalorian. And before I get on with that, just to let you know, I do believe that Din Djarin's parents were some kind of guardian of the will or order of the wills or something like that. It's all in the way they appear. But here's the story. Din Djarin, as a child, is on his planet, and his family and his planet are being attacked by separatists. Why? We don't know, but being guardians of the Wills, it might have something to do with that. But in come the Mandalorians to rescue them. Why? We don't know that either, but maybe them being some part of the Wills has something to do with that. What we do know is this is during the Clone Wars, and depending on which part of the Clone Wars, Death Watch is still trying to take over power from the pacifists led by Satine Kryze. Now, a lot of people are going to say, no, this isn't the way it is. But again, I revert back to the product description of this Mandalorian. Death Watch Mandalorian. Okay, so the Mandalorians swoop in. This guy picks up Din Djarin. Din Djarin grasps him tightly after knowing that his parents are gone. They fly off to an unknown location where this man will presumably raise, or at least beginning raising, Din Djarin. And I propose that it was on Concordia that he began raising Din Djarin. Not long after that, Maul takes over Death Watch by killing Pre Vizsla and taking the Darksaber. Part of the unit splits. Some become Night Owls and follow Bo-Katan Kryze, and some continue following Maul. During Maul's reign, the former Jedi Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan Kryze team up and relieve Maul of Mandalore. The remnants of Death Watch, led by Gar Saxon and Rook Kast, are there to protect Maul and his reign over Mandalore against these new intruders. And it's during this time that Din Djarin is still being acclimated into Mandalorian society through that Death Watch Mandalorian. Now, it's true that Beskar is very much almost indestructible. Almost. But not quite. But we do see in the Siege of Mandalore during the Clone Wars Season 7, many Mandalorians are killed from blaster shots. Now, we could all say that, they deflect blaster shots, those must be Durasteel and all that stuff. No, think about it. Mandalorians wouldn't go after another Mandalorian wearing Beskar if they know their blasters are going to just deflect off of them. Instead, they're going to create blaster bolts that can penetrate the armor. They're so much more technologically advanced than we are, yet we know not to defend ourselves from a bear with a 22. So I take you back to Din Djarin's helmet. It's different than what the other Mandalorian that rescued him was wearing, and it's different from the rest of his armor. His armor is red. Now, originally I said that was to honor a parent or a leader. That's one possibility. The other possibility is that it's still red from when that Mandalorian followed Maul. But this still doesn't explain what happened to that Mandalorian. But it does. Think of the Siege of Mandalore, how many Mandalorians died in that siege. This man took a shot to the head, and it was during the Siege of Mandalore when Ahsoka Tano, Bo-Katan, and clone troopers came in to relieve Maul. That would explain why Din Djarin is wearing a different helmet than what the other Mandalorian wore while wearing the other Mandalorian's armor, the rest of his armor. But what it doesn't explain is why Din Djarin is so adamant about not removing his helmet, and why the rest in his covert say if you remove your helmet, you can never put it back on again. And I'll get to that in just a minute. But the reason I feel like this man was under Maul and protecting Mandalore and Maul during the Siege of Mandalore is this. It isn't just because of the red armor. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because there were two factions after Death Watch split. There were the Night Owls, which this man could have followed Bo-Katan and become a Night Owl, and then they split somehow and became Children of the Watch or whatever. Or he could have been a Mandalorian. And Mandalorian is a term used loosely, but he could have been a Maul follower, painting his armor red, and then, after Maul fell, retreating away from Mandalore. But to make my theory work, I need at least one more clue that would point to him being one of Maul's Mandalorians. Well, we have it right in front of us. The armorer. She wears the horns that signify a tribute to Maul. But just to be on the safe side, let's give it one more clue. The heavy machine gunner in the Mandalorian covert that Din Djarin belongs to, his name is Paz Vizsla, a former Death Watch leader name. So here's how the chain of events goes down. Din Djarin's happy with his family on his planet. I forget the planet's name. But separatists come in and start attacking, killing everybody, and pew pew, womp womp, and all that stuff. Mandalorians jetpack down in to save the day. saving people, which is not typical of Mandalorian. This was not a Mandalorian planet. So I feel like Din Djarin's family was a key to why the Mandalorians were there. Anyways, Din Djarin gets rescued after his family gets killed. The Mandalorian that rescues him takes off with him with his jetpack. They end up on Concordia to begin raising Din Djarin as a Mandalorian. Shortly thereafter, Maul kills Pre Vizsla, taking over Death Watch, and then leads Death Watch onto Mandalore to wipe out the pacifists and start ruling Mandalore. Just as Maul takes over the Death Watch, Bo-Katan Kryze and about a third of the Death Watch members flee to start the Night Owls. Once Maul's successful at taking over Mandalore, his Mandalorians paint their armor red, and some even put horns on their helmet. It's obvious, it's seen in the Clone Wars, you can see that happen. So the Mandalorian that saved Din Djarin would have done the same. Roughly a year later, Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan Kryze attack Maul's Mandalorians on Mandalore to re-establish a Mandalorian leadership. It's during this battle that Din Djarin's rescuer is killed, probably from a headshot. As Gar Saxon and some of the other Mandalorians are captured, this Din Djarin, his covert, would have been captured as well. But it's also possible that some of them, or most of them even, escaped to Navarro. When Mando came of age, he was given his protected father's armor. Okay, that still doesn't explain the no helmet thing, because we know Din Djarin's adamant about not taking off his helmet, and his covert says once you take it off, you can't put it back on. Yet, at the time that Din Djarin was rescued, through my theory, that means Din Djarin would have seen Mandalorians removing their helmets. Okay, so he never says, neither does anybody else in the show, in the Mandalorian series, no one ever says, we have never taken off our helmets. We just know that the rule now is Mandalorians cannot remove their helmets. That their survival is in their secrecy. And the secrecy isn't just about them being secret or hidden from the Empire, but rather from other Mandalorians who may be hunting them down, or they believe are still hunting them down through paranoia. So that's my theory. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you have another theory that goes against this one, or does this one sound plausible to you? To me, in my headcanon, this works out for me. But I guess we'll see, hopefully, in future seasons of The Mandalorian. So drop me a comment and a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And remember, this is the way. The only way.